She never expected this to happen, but the moment you stop caring, everything changes. Suddenly, she's caught in a whirlwind of emotions, doubt, confusion, and regret that she can't escape. It's not just your absence, it's the psychological shift that flips the script completely. Stay with me because in this video, I'll reveal the 10 emotional stages she goes through when you pull away and how it gives you the ultimate advantage. 1. The initial shock. The moment she realizes you're no longer investing in her, it's a wake-up call she didn't see coming. Think of it like a lightning bolt striking a calm sky, sudden, jarring, and leaving her reeling for weeks, months, or maybe even longer. She's been the focus of your attention. You've been her rock, her constant, someone she could count on for care and validation. But now, that foundation is gone, and she's left standing on shaky ground. This isn't just about your attention, it's about her sense of control. She was comfortable knowing you were always there, always available, but now she feels the sting of uncertainty. She might find herself questioning everything. Why did he pull away? Was I not enough? Did I do something wrong? Her world feels out of balance, and the realization that you're no longer chasing her shakes the foundation of her confidence. She'll try to act like it doesn't bother her. She might even pretend not to notice, but deep down, this sudden shift leaves her unsettled, questioning her worth and replaying every moment in her mind, trying to figure out what went wrong. This shock is the first crack in her armor, setting the stage for the emotional journey ahead. 2. The denial phase. After the shock wears off, denial kicks in as her mind's natural defense mechanism. It's easier for her to convince herself that you're just busy, distracted, or temporarily distant than to face the reality that you've intentionally pulled back. She tells herself stories to soften the blow. He must be stressed, or maybe he's just giving me space. In her mind, this phase is all about keeping hope alive, even if that hope is misplaced. During this time, she might continue to reach out in subtle ways. She might send a text that seems casual but has hidden intent, like, "Hey, I just saw something that reminded me of you." She could post something on social media designed to catch your eye, something that says, "I'm still here, don't forget about me." But when those efforts don't get the reaction she's hoping for, cracks begin to form in her denial. The longer your silence stretches, the harder it becomes for her to maintain the illusion. Slowly but surely, she starts to realize that this isn't a temporary phase, it's a deliberate choice on your part. When that realization hits, denial crumbles, leaving her vulnerable to the next emotional stage. 3. The blame game. Once denial fades, the blame game begins, and it's a roller coaster of emotions. At first, she directs her frustration outward, blaming you for the sudden change in the dynamic. Why is he being so cold? Why is he acting like this? These thoughts give her a sense of control, allowing her to paint you as the problem rather than confronting the deeper issues within herself. She might even share her frustrations with friends, seeking validation for her feelings. Can you believe he just stopped caring? Who does that? But this phase doesn't last forever. Soon, the blame turns inward, and she starts questioning her own actions. Was I too clingy? Did I take him for granted? Could I have done something differently? This internal blame is where the emotional stakes heighten. She's no longer just upset with you, she's upset with herself. This self-reflection can be painful, but it's also a turning point. It forces her to confront the reality of the situation. You've shifted the power dynamic, and now she's the one chasing answers. The blame game isn't just about assigning fault. It's about grappling with the realization that she may have underestimated your value all along. The overthinking spiral. The blame game seamlessly transitions into overthinking, a stage that can feel like mental quicksand. Her mind becomes a non-stop loop of what-ifs, and why didn'ts. Every interaction, every conversation, and every text you've ever sent becomes a puzzle piece she's trying to fit together. She replays your last moments of connection, searching for clues. She might wonder, was there something in his tone? Did he seem distant? Did I ignore a sign? This overthinking doesn't just stay in her head. It starts influencing her actions. She becomes hyper-aware of your online activity, noticing every like, comment, and post. She might even go back months, scrolling through old messages, hoping to find some hidden meaning that explains what's happening. The craving for validation. By now, her need for validation has become a powerful driving force. The absence of your attention has created a void, and she's desperate to fill it. This isn't just about wanting you back. It's about proving to herself that she still has the ability to capture your attention. Validation becomes her mission, and she'll go to great lengths to achieve it. She might start testing the waters with small gestures, a like on your post, a casual text, or even a chance encounter where she seems to accidentally bump into you. Each move is calculated, designed to provoke a reaction. She wants to know if she still has any influence over you and if there's still a spark left to reignite. However, your lack of response only intensifies her craving. The more you remain detached, the more she fixates on winning back your attention. It's a psychological paradox. The less you give, the more she wants. At this stage, your silence has become your most powerful tool. It's not just a lack of communication, it's a strategic move that keeps her emotionally invested, even if she doesn't realize it. 6. The obsession with self-reflection. When a woman realizes that you've pulled away and she begins to grasp the weight of the situation, the self-reflection process takes over. It's one thing to feel rejected, but it's another to face the harsh truth of realizing that her actions, or lack of them, may have caused the distance between you two. This realization hits hard. Her mind begins to dig deep into her own behavior, questioning what she might have done wrong. In her mind, she starts to replay every interaction, every word you said, and every moment you shared. She wonders, was I not giving him enough space? Did I smother him? Was I too focused on myself? These questions keep her up at night, running through her mind over and over again. She doesn't want to admit it, but somewhere deep inside, she knows she's responsible for some of the distance. This moment of self-reflection forces her to look at herself and her choices with honesty. It may be the first time in a long while that she's really examined her behavior, acknowledging her flaws and the impact they've had on the relationship. This kind of introspection isn't easy. It requires emotional maturity, and in many cases, it leads her to the realization that she might have taken your attention for granted, assuming you'd always be there no matter what. But now that you've stepped away, she's forced to face the reality of her actions. The silence on your end acts like a mirror, showing her the things she may have overlooked, or even worse, ignored. This stage isn't just about her missing you. It's about her finally understanding what went wrong and why. 7. The emotional outburst. After all the introspection comes the emotional outburst. At this point, the bottled-up frustration and regret she's been holding in will eventually come pouring out. It may not happen immediately, but when it does, it can be an intense experience for her and for anyone involved. This is when she finally confronts her emotions head-on, and more often than not, it comes with tears, anger, and confusion. She may reach out to you again, possibly with an emotional text or even a call. When she does, it's not just to reconnect, it's to provoke a reaction from you. She needs you to hear her pain, her confusion, and the frustration of feeling abandoned. But here's the twist. By this point, she's not just asking for an explanation, she's also seeking validation. She wants to know that her feelings matter and that you haven't completely shut her out. If you've remained distant and resolute in your silence, this outburst can be particularly powerful. She's used to getting some form of reaction from you when she's emotional, whether that's comfort, empathy, or reassurance. But if you hold your ground, it only intensifies the emotional chaos she's experiencing. Your calmness in the face of her emotional storm becomes a source of both power and frustration for her. This stage is crucial for her emotional growth. It's when she realizes that her emotional patterns no longer have the same effect on you. The attention and validation she once relied on from you are no longer guaranteed. In many ways, this moment of emotional release is what begins the process of her regaining control over herself. She'll have to deal with the reality that she can no longer rely on external validation, and this marks the beginning of her emotional recovery. 8. The longing and nostalgia. As time passes and she begins to process everything, the longing for you intensifies. It's not just about the void left by your absence. It's also about the emotional connection she had with you that she can no longer experience. This phase is marked by nostalgia, where she starts thinking about the good times and the deep emotional bond that once existed between the two of you. The more time goes on, the stronger this sense of longing becomes. She might look back at your texts, go through old photos, or remember moments when you shared your deepest thoughts with each other. These memories become bittersweet, making her wish she had done things differently. The emotional gap she now feels isn't just the result of your absence. It's the realization that she took the emotional connection between the two of you for granted, never truly appreciating it until it was gone. She'll start to idealize the relationship, focusing on the good and pushing aside the negative. This kind of selective memory often makes her believe that things were perfect between the two of you, even if they weren't. It's an emotional trick her mind plays to cope with the current emotional pain. But despite the longing and nostalgia, she remains aware that she's lost something important. The longer she's left with her thoughts, the deeper the emotional impact of your absence grows, making her miss you more and more with each passing day. 9. The desire to reconnect. At some point, she will reach the point of no return, the point where her desire to reconnect with you becomes overwhelming. The longing she feels for you, combined with the realization that she let something special slip away, will create an irresistible urge to reach out. This stage is marked by inner conflict. She knows she should leave you alone and respect your boundaries, but the desire to fix things is too strong to ignore. She may start testing the waters again, whether through subtle hints or direct communication. She might ask mutual friends about you, try to figure out how you're doing, or even reach out herself to initiate a conversation. However, she won't do this recklessly. She'll approach you cautiously, knowing that the power dynamic has shifted and that you may not respond the same way as before. What she's looking for isn't just a sign that you're still interested. It's confirmation that she still holds some place in your heart, even if it's just a sliver. If she receives that reassurance, even in the form of a simple text or a kind word, it could be enough to reignite her hope and desire to get things back on track. The longing she feels for you, mixed with her fear of rejection, drives her to take that first step toward reconnection. This is the moment where your response, or lack thereof, becomes critical. If you continue to maintain your boundaries and show no signs of weakening, it could be the final step in her emotional journey of accepting the reality that things are over. But if you respond and give her what she's looking for, it could reignite the cycle all over again. 10. Acceptance of the situation. Eventually, after all the emotional turmoil, reflection, and attempts at reconnection, she'll arrive at a place of acceptance. This doesn't mean she's over you or that the pain has gone away. Instead, it's a realization that she cannot change the past and that she must move forward without you. This stage is marked by a sense of clarity and understanding, where she comes to terms with the fact that things have ended and it's time for her to let go. Acceptance is not the same as closure. Closure is something that often comes with time and perspective, while acceptance is the acknowledgement that no amount of waiting, wishing, or hoping will bring you back into her life in the same way. This is a bittersweet realization. It's painful because it forces her to give up the idea that there's still a chance to rekindle what once was, but it also brings peace. In this moment, she stops fighting the inevitable. This stage allows her to rebuild herself emotionally. She'll start to focus on healing and moving forward, knowing that the emotional roller coaster is over. But it's in this space of acceptance that she often becomes stronger and more self-aware. She learns valuable lessons from the experience, lessons that will help her make better decisions in future relationships. And although it's not an easy process, acceptance is the final stage in her emotional journey, one that will eventually lead to growth and self-discovery. Thanks for watching. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss out on more insights like this. Drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you.